In 2019, 425 baseball writers sat down to vote for the Hall of Fame, and for the first time in a century of voting, every single one of them wrote down the same name. Mariano Rivera. Unanimous. Not one writer left him off the ballot. It had never happened before, not for Babe Ruth, not for Willie Mays, not for Hank Aaron. The most exclusive club in sports had never once agreed on anybody. Until a relief pitcher from a fishing village in Panama. Here is the strange part. Mariano Rivera threw essentially one pitch. Everyone in the ballpark knew it was coming. And for 19 years, nobody could hit it. This is the story of the cutter, and the man who ended games. Mariano Rivera grew up in Puerto Palmito, a village on the coast of Panama that smelled of salt and diesel and fish. His father captained a commercial fishing boat, and Mariano worked the nets beside him, hauling catch in the dark before school. The family was poor, dirt poor. He played baseball with a glove folded from a milk carton, a stick for a bat, and a ball wound from tape and scraps of old fishing net. He never dreamed of the major leagues. He dreamed of escaping the boat, which nearly killed him more than once. One vessel capsized in open water. He almost drowned. To a teenager pulling nets at dawn, the big leagues were a rumor from another planet, not a plan. Then a scout saw him pitch on a dusty local field, almost by accident. He wasn't even a pitcher by trade, he was a shortstop who took the mound one afternoon and threw harder than anyone expected. In 1990, the New York Yankees signed him for $2,000. $2,000. For a man who would one day be called the greatest ever at what he did. He climbed slowly, and it was not smooth. He blew out his elbow and needed surgery. For years he was a nobody, a skinny, quiet kid with a decent fastball and not much else. When the Yankees finally brought him up in 1995, he got hammered. He looked, for a while, like a career minor leaguer, the kind of arm every team has and forgets. New York nearly traded him away that winter. A phone call almost sent him to another city. It fell through. The next season, 1996, they made him a setup man, the guy who pitches the 7th and 8th innings to hand the lead to somebody more important. And Rivera was electric in that role. He was the bridge on a championship team, the arm that got the ball to the closer. The Yankees won the World Series that fall. But he was still, in the eyes of the sport, a supporting actor. Nobody knew what was coming. Then, one afternoon in 1997, playing catch with a teammate, something went wrong. The ball kept moving. It darted, late and hard, away from the glove. His catch partner got annoyed. "Stop making it move," he said. Mariano wasn't trying to make it move. He couldn't stop it. He tried for weeks to throw it straight again, and he couldn't. He didn't know it yet. But he had just thrown the pitch that would change baseball. He spent those weeks trying to fix a flaw. Then it hit him, this wasn't a flaw to correct. This was a weapon. The pitch was a cut fastball. A cutter. It looked exactly like an ordinary fastball, 90+ miles an hour, straight as a string, until the last few feet in front of the plate, when it broke sharply, viciously, in toward a hitter's hands. That break, only a few inches, at the very last instant, did something almost no other pitch on earth could do. It found the thin part of the bat, the handle, the place where wood is weakest. It shattered lumber. Hitters would swing, feel the barrel explode in their hands, and walk back to the dugout holding nothing but a splintered stump. Broken bats piled up in front of the New York dugout like firewood. Left-handed hitters dreaded him most. The pitch bore straight into their knuckles. And they knew it was coming. That is what made it unbelievable. Rivera barely threw anything else, no big curve, no changeup he trusted, no trick. He would stand on the mound, calm as still water, and throw the same pitch again and again, and the best hitters in the world could not touch it. One All-Star said hitting against Rivera was like knowing the exact question on a test, and still failing it. They studied him for years. It didn't help. For the next 17 seasons, Mariano Rivera was the last thing a losing team ever saw. He became the Yankees' closer, the man who pitches the ninth inning to protect a lead and end the game. And when he entered, the whole stadium changed temperature. In New York, they played one song over the speakers as he jogged in from the bullpen, Metallica's Enter Sandman, and 50,000 people rose to their feet, because they knew, the instant the guitar hit, that the game was already over. He saved 652 games. More than anyone who has ever lived. 13 times an All-Star. But the regular season was never where the legend was carved. The legend was carved in October. In the playoffs, where every pitch is magnified, where careers are made or shattered, where the pressure crushes ordinary men, Mariano Rivera became something beyond human. Over 96 postseason appearances, across 16 different years, he posted an earned run average of 0.70. 0.70. To understand that number, know this: a very good pitcher, over a full season, might sit near 3. Rivera, on the single biggest stage the sport has, was more than 4 times better than that. Nearly untouchable, when it mattered most. He won 5 World Series titles. He was named Most Valuable Player of the 1999 World Series and the 2003 American League Championship Series. 3 separate times, he stood on the mound and recorded the final out of a championship, the last man standing, glove raised toward the sky, as the confetti came down around him. And yet the moment people remember most is the one time he lost. In the 2001 World Series, with the Yankees 3 outs from another title, Mariano Rivera walked to the mound. He was the surest thing in all of baseball, the safest lead a team could have. And that night, in the Arizona desert, it came apart. A throwing error. A broken bat bloop that fell into shallow center. And the Diamondbacks pushed across the winning run. The unbeatable man had been beaten on the game's last swing. What he did next is a large part of why they voted the way they did in 2019. He didn't hide. He didn't make excuses, didn't blame the error, didn't disappear down the tunnel. He stood at his locker and answered every single question, took the loss square on his shoulders, and carried it the way he carried everything, with a quiet grace that made even his rivals respect him. Years later, in his final season, opposing teams held ceremonies at their own ballparks to honor him. His enemies lined up to give him gifts. That almost never happens in sports. There was another number he wore that mattered as much as any statistic. 42. Jackie Robinson's number, retired across all of baseball forever, so that no player would ever wear it again. But the men who already had it were allowed to keep it to the end of their careers. Mariano Rivera was the last one. When he retired in 2013, the number 42 vanished from every active dugout in the sport. He was the final man in the history of the game to wear it on his back. Sit with that. The number that broke baseball's color line, carried to the very end by the son of a Panamanian fisherman who signed for $2,000 and a prayer. When he walked off the field for the last time, pulled from the mound in his final home game by his two oldest teammates, weeping into their shoulders, an entire era closed with him. So why does it matter? Why does a relief pitcher, a man who threw one pitch, one inning at a time, stand beside Ruth and Mays and Aaron in the boat no one else ever swept? Because Mariano Rivera redefined what a single role could be worth. Before him, the closer was an afterthought, a job for arms that couldn't start. He made the ninth inning the most feared 3 outs in the game. He proved that greatness is not always power, or noise, or a swing for the fences. Sometimes it is one thing, done perfectly, 10,000 times, without ever once flinching. And he did it clean, in an era soaked in scandal, when so many of his peers were chasing records through needles and lies. Rivera never was. His name never appeared on a single list. That, too, is why every writer, every last one of them, wrote it down. One pitch. Everyone in the world knew it was coming. And nobody could hit it. If the whole world can see exactly what you are about to do, and still cannot stop you, what does that make you? Follow for more.